Guys, welcome back to my channel. So in this video I'm going to be showing you guys how to make this little girl's dress. So guys, the main focus of this video is going to be the collar, right? The sailor collar. So that's the main purpose of this video. So I'm making this for a 5-year-old. You might need about, let's say, 1.5 or 2 years of fabric. So I'm going to start with the shoulder measurement. So you see I have my fabric folded into 2 for the back, and then I also have another one folded into 2 for the front, right? The width here is just around her chest divided by 4 plus like extra, depending on you. If you want to make it free, you can do 1 inch of ease and 1 inch of seam allowance, or half an inch of ease and 1 inch of seam allowance, right? And then the next thing I'm going to do is come up here. I have her shoulder to waist, which is 11 plus 1 inch is 12. I'm going to go ahead and insert her shoulder divided by 2, which is 11 divided by 2 is 5.5. Mark it, come down here by like half an inch, and then I'm going to insert her armhole length. To calculate this, you can do chest divided by 6 plus 1.5. Whatever you get, you go ahead and insert it here, connect it to this point, and then I'm going to insert, you see all my measurements are starting from this point here, you see, because this 1 inch here is for my zipper for the back, because the first one is our front, the second one is the back panel. So I'm going to go ahead and insert her chest divided by 4. Her chest is 24 divided by 4, mark that, and then add whatever you want to use as the seam allowance or your ease. Come down to the waist, do the same thing. Her waist divided by 4 plus extra 2 inches this time because of the dart, because I'm going to be adding a dart here. And now I'm going to connect here to this point and cut. So I'm going to also give it a curve here. Just your basic bodice is what you're marking here. Come down here 1 inch for the back neckline, and then 3 inches for the front neckline. But I'm going to be doing 2 inches of neck width, or 2.5, sorry, not 2 inches. 2 inches will be too small. If it was less than 5 years old, I'll do 2 inches of neck width. But from 5 and above, I like to do 2.5. If the child is chubby, I will do up to 3. That's the same neckline as an adult. And then I'm going to connect it this way. Give it a curve. So now let me just go ahead and cut. Instead of 3 inches for this part here, I can do 2.5 for the neck depth, right? I'm not going to take it down. So 1 inch for the back neck depth, and then 2.5 for the front neck depth. So guys, after that, the next thing I'm going to go ahead and insert is my dart. So I'm just going to do the nipple to nipple divided by 2, which is 6 plus half an inch. Mark that here. So her front dart is going to be half an inch on this side, both for the front and the back, half an inch on both sides, and then the dart is going to go all the way to about 4 inches in front, or just do from her chest down to 1 inch before her nipple line. You understand? 1 inch before it gets to the nipple line, that's where normally the length of that will be. But the dart at the back is going to go up to the chest line, which is the line of this armhole, and it's on the 2 sides of the back panel. Another thing I like to do to relax my zip and make not so it doesn't bulge at the back and the back doesn't drop lower, is just to go ahead and remove at least half an inch at this side here. That's to angle it from the center. So now I'm going to go ahead and join this together, pick my dart. And then guys, another thing you're supposed to do is also to go ahead and cut your sleeve. So this is what I'm using for my sleeve, and if you look at it, you see that this is a puffy sleeve, and it also has a band of about 2 inches at the end, right? So this is what I'm going to be using here. So first, to cut the puffy part, I'm going to come down here at least 2 inches, or you can do 1.5. And then you're going to insert your normal cap height. So I'm going to do at least 2.5 for that. And then what I'm going to do is this is going to be where I'm inserting my normal sleeve length. Curve from this point to this point here. Find halfway through. Give it a curve below, because normally this would have been my sleeve, right? This is how you normally mark your sleeve. But this extra here is just the part that I'm going to gather or pleat to give me that puffiness. So give it a curve this way, and then I'm going to go from this part now all the way to join to this half line. You see, from this half line now, one is going below, and then from here the other one is going to come down to meet this one. And that's basically it. I'm going to leave it square the way it is, because I'm still going to gather this into the band at the end of the sleeve. That's the curve to help pull it together, right? So now I'm just going to go ahead and cut just this part. So guys, I wanted to show you guys the neckline and before I start joining the sleeve, but in the meantime, this is how far I've come with the sleeve. So this is it here, you see. Like I said, you gather this in between here, but you will stop at least 1.5 from the side, gather everything at the end. So how I got this part in the center is just, I cut out a piece of fabric that is about 5 inches of width and then folded it into two. So you see, this is on a fold, so I'll have about 2.5 on this side, 2.5 on the other side, and then came up here by 1 inch, added my bias. It's bias that I'm using. I don't have ribbon at the moment, so I sewed my bias at the bottom and then at the top, coming up 1 inch from the bottom part. And then you see the excess here, I tucked it in. So now how I'm going to do it is just to take this sleeve now, insert it in between this part and this here, and sew it close, right? So that's how I'm going to achieve this on the other sleeve. So the width of her sleeve is 5 inches, but what I have here, the width of her, like her arm, 10 inches, so divided by 2 is 5. So after that I added 1 inch here, so that's about 6 is what I have. That's how you're going to cut it. So I'm going to go ahead now and cut the collar. So guys, how you're going to cut this collar is once you fold your fabric into two, you see this part is on a fold, so I made sure to have about half an inch at the center, right? So what I'm going to do is to mark out the collar, the neckline here. We've made something similar but not exactly. So now this is the neckline here. So now I'm also going to come down here by at least the back is not supposed to be that long, so let's say we do 4 inches would look perfect for this. That way I'll use half an inch as my seam allowance, but I'm not sure if the fabric I have here will be enough to cover that, because you see, if I'm able to get 4.5 here, I don't think on this side I will be able to get it because my fabric is not enough. So guys, you see, I have the neckline. I've rearranged my fabric in such a way that I can get 4.5 on this side. So I'm also going to try to get another 4.5 on this center part by the zipper. So now I have it here. So I'm just going to connect the two of them after I remove this fabric. So in the meantime, you see, I also marked it here. So once I'm done, that half an inch will be my seam allowance, and then I'll be left with cape of 4 inches for the back. So now what I'm going to do is to also go ahead now for the front. Remember, I need to have half an inch here just so that I can be able to fold the edge of this here. Half an inch that goes up to, let's say, this point. This is about 2 inches. Up to about 2 inches here, right? And then I'm going to fold this away like you're trying to make a V, and then I'm going to connect it from this point now all the way to this point. You see what I'm doing? So now I'm going to also go ahead and connect from this part. You see, wherever the side of my collar ends, that's where my armhole is supposed to start. I'm going to now remove this. That way I can connect it. So first things first, let me go ahead and join these two parts together so that I know that this is my cape at the back. And then I'm also going to come in here and then join this together this way, right? And then after that, I'm going to connect from here to this edge here. And then from this part now, I'm going to curve it in. Guys, it depends on you. You can use a curved side of your ruler just so you have a better, anywhere that fits better for you. It's okay. So this is better for me this way. You see? So this is what I'm working with now. So, but I'm going to be adding, since this back already has the half an inch added to it, but I still need half an inch on this side because I'm going to be sewing this side. This is the part I'm going to add half an inch to. This center part, I won't add any half an inch to it. So this one here we added already, but this extra part now, I just added it right in front of you. So I won't be adding in the center because remember, you still use bias to finish the end and every other thing. So I'm cutting my neckline to look like this, round and then curve towards the front. You see, my neckline is not coming in. This line now is of no use to me. It's going this way all the way to the end. So let me go ahead and cut it out. I'm also going to be splitting this into two. So now you see, one side is here. Sorry, I need to divide this into two. So you see, one side is coming towards this and then one side is coming towards this, you see. So this is how it's going to form. And then how I'm going to join it is, first of all, I'm going to use 1/2 inch like this. So let me tell you guys how I'll do it. So I'm going to start from the back, use 1/2 inch to sew it all the way in like this, and then sew all the way, come up to this center part, sew it up this way, and then I'm going to sew it here. You see, the only part I'm going to be leaving open is this center here, this inner part, just this part that will be fitting into my zipper. That's the only part that will be left open. Every other thing will be closed. So the same on this side, go from this point here now, so all the way down to the end, close up this part, come up again here, do the same just like that, and then I'll bring it back and show you guys how I'll attach it to this. So guys, you see what I did here? I've joined my bias, you see, all the way to the end here after flipping it over. The only part that is open is this part and then this other part, you see. So now this is what I have left. I'm still going to cut this off at the end, but I'll leave about, let's say, 8 inches at the end, but I just left it the way it is right now. So now the next thing is to join this to the body of my clothes. So if you look at my top here, you'll see that I've attached my sleeve, I've used the bias on it, I've done everything that I need to do. You see, I've done this here, I've joined the sleeve, put in bias. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take this the way it is, go from the back of the neck like this, and top stitch it all the way, but all the way down this way. But you have to mark it so you know how to properly place it, right? Mark it first before you start to make your stitch, because you're going to stitch it once you sew the back neckline and come to the top here in front. You're stitching at the very edge of this here on top like this until you get to this point. Then you're going to take the other one again, start from the back neck again. Remember, you have some part of this is entering into the zipper allowance. You sew it all the way. You're sewing it very close to the neckline until you get to where the shoulder joins together. After that, you just leave it straight down to this point, if that makes sense. So the only part you're sewing close to the neckline is the back of the neck, because remember our C went this way. So remember the C went this way, right, and then went down this way. So this part is supposed to be where your shoulder comes in. So you're going to sew the neckline. This is where the zip is going down at the back. The other part is coming this way, right? And then the other zipper is going this way. So you're going to go from this part now, join this all the way till you get to the part where the shoulder goes in before you now have this sleeve coming in here. Once you get to this point now, instead of going round again to meet the front neckline, you're following this line and then you make this stitch down. Let me show you again on the fabric. You see, we are going from the neck at the back, starting from the neck at the back. You're sewing it very close to the neck at the back. Once I get to the top of the shoulder, you see my seam here where the sleeve is, the seam. My seam is not going to go around the neck again, because you see I've used bias to finish up my neckline. See my neck here, I've used bias to finish it up, but I'm not going to continue this way. I'm going to go down somewhere like this. The same on the other side. And then once I do the two of them, I'll cut off the excess, but leaving about, let's say, 8 inches, just so you can tie it up. Guys, the perfect thing to use for this is ribbon, but since I don't have ribbon, I'm using a bias tape. So let me go ahead and do that. And once that is done, the next step, you see, it's also supposed to have a belt. So the same 4 inches of width, and then maybe, let's say, 25 inches length is what you're going to be using for your belt. Then you're going to sew it close and then insert it. As your seam is coming down from the armhole down, you insert a belt in between it and close it up. So now all I have to do is, after this now, is to join the bottom girder. And we've done this several times. So how you're going to calculate how much you're going to need for your girder is just round her waist. If her waist is 20 times 3, 60. So the width of your fabric will be 60 inches of width. And then the length is basically from her shoulder to her waist. You're going to subtract it from her shoulder to her knee or below her knee. Whatever you get is what will be the length of this. Add 1.5 to it. So you can use 1 inch to fold the edge and 1/2 inch to join it to the bottom. So let me go ahead and couple mine together and I'll bring it back. So once you're done, go ahead and insert the zip, and that's basically it. So guys, you see what I did here? I sewed it down on the neck all the way. I've not gotten my zip, so once I get my zip, I'll just insert it at the back here. Let me show you. So once I get the zip, I'll just split open this, lose the stitch, and just insert the zip. But I closed it up just to show you guys. You see, this thing goes even into the back here. So now see the front. So guys, another thing is that for this collar, you can, if you don't want this stitch on top here, you can only sew it up to the shoulder and just let it drop in front, right? And just let it drop in front. But you know it's for a child, so you always want to hold it down any possible way. So that's why I made my stitch to come down up to this point, double stitched it here. So now this piece that is remaining, that is supposed to be your ribbon, all you have to do is just to cross it over like this. You see, just make something like this and tack it down. You can even use like a seam to hold it, just stitch it straight down like this, or you can use your needle and thread to hold it down. So that's basically the way it is. So you see, this is the belt, this is the sleeve, this is it here, and you see this, you can raise this up like this. So that's basically it here. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Guys, please like, share, and subscribe. Bye.